Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is your host, the one and only, and for those that are new, welcome. You have made it to the showdown of the year, my official ultimate iPhone battery drain test featuring 5 contestants and including the entire current lineup of Apple's iPhones for 2019. We'll pit up each phone through 10 grueling tests to see which reigns supreme and which will go home with the King of Battery Life title for 2019. Which do you think will win? The XR? The 11 Pro Max? Or perhaps the regular 11? I don't know. Well, actually I do, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. So comment down below which phone you think will come out on top. And also, for my old school subscribers, I want to say I love you all and hope each and every one of you have joined the Apple Watch Series 5 giveaway. And to all the newcomers, you heard right. My 10,000 subscriber giveaway is still live, so do not miss your opportunity at a chance to win one. So just stay tuned until the end of the battery drain test to find out how to win. Alright, I know you guys want to get right into it. Let's get it, baby! Alright guys, I hope this video is as informative as it is entertaining for you, and trust me, the results will shock you. Before we officially begin, I'll very quickly throw up all the specs of each device so that you can pause and take a look at them for yourself. Most notably, what's more important in battery preservation are 3 things: chipset, screen size, and physical battery size. Newer chipsets often equate to more power efficient technology that is important, especially when companies like Apple are able to still support devices 4, 5, even 6 years into a product's life cycle. The screen size and technology is also very important. A bigger screen draws more energy to power that display and output more pixels, but this is typically compensated with a bigger physical battery so that they end up washing itself out anyway. Obviously, Apple touted the new 11 Pro line as being this new battery beast, so we'll see if Apple's claims hold up. Alright, here we go. From left to right, give it up for our 5 contestants. We have the iPhone XR, my old iPhone XS Max, which is technically not available directly through Apple anymore, but I just threw it in there just for the heck of it. In the middle, the successor to the XR, the iPhone 11. To the right of that, the iPhone 11 Pro just chilling, looking all gorgeous and everything. And finally, the heavyweight, our main man, the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Alright, we're going to have a clean fight today. These iPhones are going to obey all the same rules and keep it classy. All settings are identical. Display brightness on all was turned to 70%, as I feel this is where most people put their brightness at on average. All connected to the same Wi-Fi network, cellular turned off, True Tone turned off, auto lock set to never, and even all wallpapers are the same, as this is crucial on the OLED phones. The XR and 11 are not OLED panels and use a different technology, but I still kept the wallpaper the same for consistency's sake. A lot of care and effort was also put into pretty much identical app placement, and all apps on each phone were updated for the newest and current version. Oh, last thing. All 5 phones are running iOS 13.0. It is important to note that I had my XS Max and XR both swapped because my XS Max charging port was messing up and the XR's Face ID sensor just failed on me. So Apple gave me brand new phones, meaning each of these 5 phones' battery health is at 100%. Basically, this test is as fair as it gets. Alright, so let's officially begin. For our first test, I was curious to see how each phone would score on a benchmark test, as running these tests really taps hard into the CPU to draw out those raw scores, which in theory is a pretty good indication at how a device is set to perform. I ran a total of 3 tests back to back to back and averaged them out for my own records. After 3 successive CPU tests, to my surprise, all 5 phones are still standing mighty proud at 100%. Incredible! All 5 phones came prepared for this test, and we continue rolling on to test number 2. For this test, I decided to mimic our use of the cameras in the real world. A lot of us snap a lot of photographs, a bunch of random dumb videos, and if you're like me, Snapchat a ton. Therefore, each phone was set to record for 30 straight minutes on the same settings, that being 1080p at 30 frames per second. After 30 minutes and after eating a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I came back to check on the phones and arrived at the following percentages. iPhone XR, 90%. XS Max, 90%. 11, 90%. Sheesh, next phone, please change it up, please. 11 Pro, 91%. There we go. And lastly, the show off of the bunch, the 11 Pro Max at a nice and powerful 93%. Up next, I needed to go to the gym after a weekend of eating complete and utter trash, so I needed a movie to play, as a lot of us do this with our phones, whether on Netflix, Hulu, or the soon-to-be-released Apple TV+. I logged into Netflix and started playing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is an amazing movie by the way, and ran this test for 2 whole hours. After 120 minutes straight, let's see how these phones are holding up. The iPhone XR is sitting at a still very respectable 68%. The iPhone XS Max swings back and landed at a healthier 72%, while the successor to the XR, the 11, sits at 1% higher than the XR, coming in at 69%. The Pro models really start to shine here, as the 11 Pro is at 76% and the 11 Pro Max at an unbelievable 80%. So after 2 hours and 46 minutes, these aren't bad percentages at all. Is your choice still winning? This is still anyone's W to take. We proceed on to test number 4, our social media test. Lately, I've been on Twitter a lot, and mostly it's to check out the dank memes and the hilarious retweets people post. To mimic this, periodically, I browsed through a random article on trending, the identical article on all 5 phones to keep things consistent. After an hour, while I ate some Taco Bell, which proved to be a horrible mistake later that night, we arrive at the following figures. XR drops 10%, bringing it down to 58%. The XS Max at a relatively healthy 66%. The 11 still besting its predecessor, coming in at 60%, while the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max come in at 71% and 76% respectively. Crazy that after 4 hours with the display always on and running, the 11 Pro Max is still at 3/4 battery capacity. On the same motif of social media, I have also been using Facebook a lot. Also because of these Spanish memes that are to die for. I feel sorry for my non-bilingual folk, for real, because having memes in 2 different languages and 2 different cultures is so amazing and hilarious. Anyway, I set Facebook on my profile, which if you don't follow me on social media, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're missing out on channel news, updates, polls, and first dibs on knowing the scoop about future giveaways. That's my Facebook. You can follow me there, but I'll also throw up my Twitter and Instagram up on the screen. So after an hour of being on the FB, the XR sits at right under half battery capacity, coming in at 48%. The XS Max with an even bigger gap than the XR now at 56%. The 11 trailing the XR slightly at exactly half capacity. The 11 Pro at 63%, and some freak of nature, the 11 Pro Max sits at a staggering 69%. Pretty incredible that so far this long into the drain test, and the 11 Pro Max is barely breaking a sweat. Next up, my favorite thing in the world, YouTube. You know, it gets pretty bad when even while driving, I sometimes hit up YouTube and browse the latest tech news instead of rocking out to some good old System of a Down. I hate to admit it, man, but TV is slowly becoming a thing of the past. Us millennials love YouTube, and in a way have substituted it from traditional cable TV. Anyway, the ever-calming river sound video is up and running once again for this drain test, and let me tell you, at this point, I was convinced the 11 Pro Max was to take a huge beating to battery life. As many of you will know, YouTube drains your battery like a leech, or kind of how your crazy ex used to drain your wallet. It's a shame, man, to be honest. But it was a complete shocker. After 120 minutes, the 11 Pro Max actually fared pretty well and sat at a very comfy 51%. Insane. When we go down the list, the YouTube beating is more severe since the 11 Pro dropped to 41%, the 11 at 19%, the XS Max at 31%, and the poor XR suffered a huge L, maybe Ben Askren level, and dropped to 14%, just praying this will end soon. Okay, now up next for test number 7, I decided to leave all 5 phones on the home screen and not touch them for an hour. Now this is a good time to point out that the OLED phones, in this case the XS Max, the 11 Pro, and the 11 Pro Max, feature an OLED panel, while the XR and 11 feature an LCD panel. This is important, as with OLED, your wallpaper has a drastic effect on your battery. Let me explain. With OLED, essentially, each pixel is individually lit. Think about it like a million tiny light bulbs. When there is a true black on your OLED screen, that tiny light bulb does not come on. Or if you have dark blues or grays, it is much less power consuming than a bright white light bulb or an energetic red or pink. This differs from LED technology, which features a backlight illuminating your display so that it doesn't really matter what colors you have, since the backlight is the sole driver consuming your battery. For these phones, I chose a relatively dark wallpaper, but if I had a bright white wallpaper, I guarantee on the OLED phones, the drop in battery would be much more drastic. Now that you hopefully learned something new, let's look at these numbers. The iPhone XR at 3%, sucking on air and barely hanging in there. The XS Max fared much better, dropping to just 24%, while the 11 not far behind the XR at 5%. But the big boys still swinging hard, as the 11 Pro is at 35% and the 11 Pro Max still at right under half capacity at 47%. It was getting late and I was worried how much longer the 11 Pro line would last. We are several hours in and all 5 phones are still up and running continuously. Honestly, this is pretty good, so let's give them all a round of applause. Next up, and a first for my battery drain tests, something so obvious but something that doesn't really cross our minds while doing drain tests for whatever reason. But the main purpose these devices are called iPhones, to make phone calls. So for this test, I mimicked a quick phone call that maybe you might make, to call your mom, or maybe your brothers or sisters, or maybe even call out from work. And to be honest, I don't really make many phone calls. Chances are, if you call me, I'll probably follow up with a text saying, "Yo bro, I'm busy, what's up, you good?" But really, I'll be chilling in bed on YouTube eating some chips. What? Facts though, am I lying or does anyone else do this? Anyway, I got my mom's phone without her permission to assist with this test, and she was pretty upset she couldn't find her phone and that I was wasting her unlimited minutes. But I rang her line for 7 minutes on each phone, turning off Wi-Fi and inserting my SIM card to isolate the signal to be used using exclusively cellular only. I guess this was too much for the XR, as it couldn't even make it past its test and suffered an untimely fate at 8 hours and 37 minutes. Still pretty respectable though for being on this long. The XS Max still hanging in there at 18%, while the 11, just like the XR, also unfortunately met its demise at 9 hours and 4 minutes, proving Apple's claims somewhat. The 11 should see minimal improvements over the XR, but an improvement nonetheless. The 11 Pro dropped only 6% while doing this test, down to 29%, and the 11 Pro Max also dropped 6% as well, down to 41%. Almost wrapping up. We have only 3 contestants left, and now it's time to play some Clash Royale. I needed to get my collection battles and war battles in anyway, since I'm the clan leader, and I have to set a good example. And before anyone calls me a dweeb, to those people, I say this: shut up. Clash Royale is a huge multiplayer game that is played in real time with real people, so I love to emote the heck out of people and make them feel bad about themselves and ultimately their skills by laughing with the E-Wiz emote after I win. Does that make me a douche? I don't know. Either way, I played 3 matches on ladder, which is 1v1 and where all your credibility rests as a player. After 3 matches on each device, the XR is at, oh wait, the XR is dead. The XS Max is at 10%. On its last legs basically, while the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max proved to be substantial updates versus the XS Max, being at 25% and 37% respectively. And lastly, the final test was the endless loop of Temple Run. This is probably the only game I know that can do this, and is a fan favorite amongst YouTubers who are wanting to drain the battery, as it does use a decent amount of power to keep running the game endlessly. The question for this test isn't so much which phone will win, rather, how long will the iPhone 11 Pro line last? Well, not long after starting the Temple Run test, the XS Max finally fell with a very commendable 10 hours and 51 minutes of usage while performing the test. At this time, the 11 Pro was starting to slip at 17%, while the 11 Pro Max also fell down to 28%, finally being at about a quarter battery left even after almost 11 hours of the screen being continuously on. I was going on in the late hours of the night, setting alarms spaced 30 minutes apart each to check on them and making sure to dismiss the annoying 20 or 10% battery notification, and finally, the 11 Pro, just as I had predicted from the beginning, fell before the 11 Pro Max, dimming its display and calling it a day, or rather night, at 12 hours and 43 minutes. I thought the 11 Pro Max would fall shortly after, but either this thing is on some steroids or this device is from another planet, since it finally, and I mean finally, let me sleep in peace and died at 14 hours and 17 minutes. This is insane and never saw it coming. I never expected this battery to be this good. But ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our 2019 reigning, defending, undisputed battery king, the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So what have we learned today? Well, for one, the 11 Pro line does not disappoint when Apple said they can now last 4 to 5 hours longer over the previous generation. Of course, not everyone will have the display on for 10 plus hours, and not a single person will have the exact same usage as the next person, but paints a pretty good idea of how good these phones truly are in terms of battery degradation throughout our busy days. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful, but now, for those of you that stuck till the end, I want to say this. First off, thank you. The channel reached 10,000 subscribers not too long ago, and now it is time to celebrate. If you would like a chance to win an Apple Watch Series 5 aluminum model, brand spanking new, all you have to do is 1. Subscribe to my channel with bell notifications. 2. Destroy the like button on this video, and while you're at it, drop a like on my other videos and tell me you did so. I'll heart your comment if you do. 3. Head over to my official iPhone 11 Pro review, which I will attach a card at the upper right corner, and also link the video in the description, and comment on it letting me know who your favorite musical artist or band is of all time. And lastly, do not forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram to always stay in the loop. The giveaway ends October 20th, and that very same day, the winner will be announced via a live stream right here on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. So make sure to check your local times, as this may be Monday morning for some. I truly am amazed at the support, but I do pour my heart and time into these videos, guys. I always strive to keep you all as informed as possible so you can be happier with your expensive tech purchase. Well, that's been it. I'm going to go ahead and script and film more videos for your viewing pleasure. Good luck to everyone, and I can't wait to catch you all in the next one. Peace.